Nothing else matters. Not the supplements stacked on your counter. Not the fitness trend everyone around you is talking about. Not the diet your neighbor swears by. Not the advice you've been following for the last 20 years. If you're over 65 and you still wake up stiff, still run out of energy before noon, still feel older on the inside than you know you should, this video is for you. Because I have spent years listening to people exactly your age describe the same frustration, doing everything right and still feeling like their body is working against them. And what I found changed everything I thought I knew about health after 60. There are only 13 rules that actually move the needle, not 30 habits, not a complicated protocol, 13 rules. And once you understand them, nothing else matters. Yeah, here is the truth that almost no one tells you. Most of the health advice you have followed your entire life was written for someone 30 years younger. Your body after 65 does not work the same way it did at 40. The signals are different. The timelines are different. What actually works is different. And that is not a failure on your part. That is biology. So today, we are starting over. Not from the beginning, from a smarter place. The place where you only do what actually moves your body forward. Because at this stage of life, your time is too valuable to spend on things that do not work. In the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through all 13 rules. Well, what they are, why they matter specifically for your body right now, and what early signals you can expect to feel within weeks, not months. Let us start with the first 4 rules. I call these the foundation, because if you get nothing else right, these 4 alone will begin to change how you feel within the first few weeks. Rule 1. Sleep is your first medicine, not your second, not your third, your first. Before exercise, before nutrition, before anything else on this list. If your sleep is broken, everything you do for your health is working against the current. And here is what most people do not realize. Poor sleep at your age is not just inconvenient. A study published in 2019 followed over 600 adults over the age of 65 and found that those sleeping fewer than 6 hours a night had significantly higher levels of inflammation markers, lower muscle recovery rates, and nearly double the rate of cognitive decline compared to those getting 7 to 8 hours. In as little as 3 weeks of improving sleep consistency, participants reported measurable improvements in morning stiffness and daytime energy. What this means for you if you are waking up exhausted after 8 hours or lying awake at 2 in the morning, that is not just age. That is a solvable problem. And fixing it may be the single most powerful thing you can do for your body right now. Rule 2. Protein first at every meal. Not a side dish. Not an afterthought. The first thing on your plate. After 65, your body becomes what researchers call anabolically resistant. A clinical way of saying your muscles are harder to build and far easier to lose than they were 20 years ago. And the single most underappreciated cause of muscle loss in older adults is not lack of movement. It is not eating enough protein. A landmark study published in the Journal of Nutrition followed over 400 adults, aged 65 to 82, and found that those consuming at least 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily maintained significantly more muscle mass and reported feeling stronger and more energetic within 8 weeks. The average older adult in that study was eating less than half that amount. What this means for you if you are having a salad for lunch and calling it a healthy choice, you may be slowly losing the one thing that keeps you independent, your muscle. Eggs at breakfast. Fish at lunch. Chicken, legumes, or Greek yogurt at dinner. Protein first. Every single meal. Rule 3. Walk after every meal. Not a long walk, not a workout. A 10-minute walk after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner. This single habit has more scientific evidence behind it than almost any supplement on the market. A study published in Sports Medicine in 2022 found that just 2 to 5 minutes of walking after eating significantly reduced blood sugar spikes in adults of all ages. And for adults over 60, the effect was even more pronounced. Blood sugar stability is directly connected to your energy, your mood, your joint inflammation, and your long-term cognitive function. The blood sugar roller coaster, the crash at 3 in the afternoon, the heavy feeling after meals, the mental fog, is not inevitable. It is manageable, and 10 minutes after each meal is where that management begins. Rule 4. Your muscle is your retirement plan. I want you to sit with that idea for a moment. Not your savings account, not your supplements, your muscle. Muscle tissue is metabolically active. It burns energy at rest. It protects your joints. It regulates your blood sugar. And it even produces compounds that protect your brain from cognitive decline. When researchers at the University of California studied adults over 70, they found that grip strength, a simple measure of overall muscle health, was one of the strongest predictors of both longevity and physical independence. Not cholesterol, not blood pressure, muscle. Every day you go without challenging your muscles in some way, your body is quietly losing ground. I will come back to this with exactly what to do in Rule 10. But for now, I need you to understand that building and maintaining muscle after 65 is not vanity. It is the single most important investment you can make in your independence. Now, what I just shared in those first 4 rules already puts you ahead of the majority of people your age who are following advice designed for someone half their age. Now, let us move into the rules that most people never hear about. The hidden levers, the ones that feel almost too simple to be true, until you try them. Rule 5. Sunlight in the morning, darkness at night. This is not only about vitamin D, though, that matters too. This is about your circadian rhythm, the biological clock running inside every cell of your body. When natural light enters your eyes within the first hour of waking, it sets off a cascade of hormonal events that regulate your cortisol, your melatonin, your mood, and your sleep quality 12 to 16 hours later. And when your evenings are flooded with artificial light from screens and overhead bulbs, your brain cannot tell the difference between noon and midnight. This is one of the most underdiagnosed contributors to poor sleep, low energy, and mood disruption in adults over 65. The fix requires almost nothing, 10 to 15 minutes, outside in natural morning light. Even on a cloudy day. And dimmer, warmer lighting in the 2 hours before bed. People who make this change alone consistently report better sleep quality within the first week. Rule 6. Stop eating ultra-processed foods. And understand why they are not actually food. This sounds obvious until you see how far the category extends. It is not just chips and candy. It is the packaged bread, the flavored yogurt, the so-called healthy granola bar, the low-fat salad dressing with a label longer than a short story. Ultra-processed foods are engineered deliberately to override your body's satiety signals. They are specifically designed to make you want more, even when you have had enough. And the research on this is not subtle. A 2021 study published in the British Medical Journal followed over 70,000 adults and found that ultra-processed food consumption was associated with accelerated biological aging at the cellular level. What this means for you: every time you choose something your grandmother would have recognized as real food over something that comes in a crinkly bag, you are choosing to slow down the aging your body is experiencing right now. That is not a small decision. Rule 7. Hydration before caffeine. Before your morning coffee, before anything, drink a full glass of water. During the 8 hours you sleep, your body is fasting and gently dehydrating. Your first cup of coffee before any water sends a diuretic signal to your kidneys before you have replaced what you lost overnight. Chronic mild dehydration in adults over 65 is extremely common and almost never recognized for what it is. It shows up as fatigue, brain fog, joint stiffness, and constipation. Symptoms that get blamed on age, when the answer is in a glass of water. Keep a glass on your nightstand. Before your feet touch the floor tomorrow morning, drink it. Thousands of older adults report that this single habit meaningfully improved their morning energy and mental clarity within the first few days, not weeks. Days. Rule 8. Manage stress as aggressively as you manage any disease. Most health conversations for older adults skip this one entirely. That is a serious mistake. Cortisol, the stress hormone, when elevated for extended periods, directly breaks down muscle tissue, disrupts sleep architecture, impairs immune function, and accelerates bone density loss. In a study published in the journal Psychoneuroendocrinology, adults over 65 with chronically elevated cortisol showed significantly greater rates of physical decline than those with lower stress biomarkers, completely independent of diet, exercise, or medical history. This is not about eliminating stress. It is about giving your body daily opportunities to recover from it. Breath work, prayer or meditation, time outside, a conversation with someone who makes you feel safe. These are not soft suggestions. They are biological necessities that your body is counting on. Rule 9. Social connection is a biological need, not a luxury. Loneliness in adults over 65 is not only a mental health issue, it has measurable physiological consequences. Research from Brigham Young University found that social isolation carries health risks equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And more strikingly, people over 65 with strong, consistent social connections showed slower cognitive decline, lower inflammation levels, and better immune response than those who were isolated. Even after accounting for exercise and diet, the implication is clear. Your relationships are medicine. Phone calls, lunches with friends, a community group, even brief daily interactions with neighbors. All of these send biological signals that reduce cortisol, stimulate oxytocin, and maintain the cellular environments your body needs to keep functioning well. We are now at the point in this video that I want you to pay close attention to. The next 4 rules are the ones most people never hear. not from their doctors, not from the health programs they've tried. These are the rules that separate the people who age well from the ones who don't. And the difference is not genetics. Before I continue, leave a comment right now. Type strong if maintaining your physical strength and mobility is your biggest priority. Type sharp if keeping your mind clear and your memory intact is what matters most to you. I read every single comment, and your answer is going to shape exactly what I cover in the next episode. Rule 10. Strength training is not optional after 60. Let me say that again because it may be the most important sentence in this entire video. Strength training is not optional after 60. The medical term for age-related muscle loss is sarcopenia, and it affects over 30% of adults over 65. But what the research now clearly shows is that sarcopenia is not simply an inevitable part of aging. It is largely a consequence of inactivity. And here is the extraordinary part. The human body, even at 75 and 80 years old, retains a remarkable capacity to build new muscle when challenged appropriately. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine followed adults aged 86 to 96 through a 10-week resistance training program and found significant increases in muscle strength, walking speed, and functional independence in people who had been considered too old and too frail to exercise. You do not need a gym. You do not need heavy weights. You need resistance. Bodyweight squats, holding a chair, resistance bands, light dumbbells. Apply consistently, 2 to 3 times per week. Most people feel the first changes within 3 to 4 weeks. Dorothy, 71 years old, retired nurse. After her knee replacement 2 years ago, she had stopped climbing stairs without holding the railing. Her doctor told her that was to be expected at her age. She began doing seated resistance band exercises 3 times a week. Nothing intense. Nothing that caused pain. At week 4, she climbed the stairs for the first time without the railing. At week 8, she was walking to her mailbox and back without stopping. Those are not exceptional results. That is what the body is capable of when you give it the right signal consistently. Rule 11. Your gut health controls far more than you think. The gut microbiome, the 2 to 3 pounds of bacteria living inside your digestive tract, has been directly connected to immune function, mood regulation, inflammation levels, and even brain health through what researchers call the gut-brain axis. In adults over 65, the diversity of gut bacteria typically declines significantly. And this decline has been linked to increased systemic inflammation, slower recovery from illness and injury, and mood changes, including anxiety and depression. A study published in the journal Nature found that a diet consistently rich in fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, increased gut microbial diversity and reduced inflammation markers in participants in just 10 weeks. This is not about taking a probiotic capsule and calling it handled. It is about feeding the living ecosystem inside you every single day. 1 or 2 servings of fermented food daily, alongside fiber from whole vegetables, is enough to begin shifting the balance. Most people notice meaningful digestive changes within the first 2 to 3 weeks. Rule 12. Stop chasing supplements and fix the foundations first. This may be the most counterintuitive rule on this list. The supplement industry generates over $150 billion annually. and older adults are among its most aggressively targeted consumers. And yes, some supplements under the right conditions genuinely help. Vitamin D, magnesium, omega-3 fatty acids. There is real peer-reviewed evidence behind these in specific populations with specific deficiencies. But here is what the research also shows without ambiguity. No supplement can compensate for broken sleep, inadequate protein, chronic unmanaged stress, and social isolation. When the foundation is broken, supplements are expensive noise. Before you add anything new to your regimen, audit the first 11 rules on this list, because supplements layered on top of a broken foundation will give you expensive urine and very little else. Start with the foundation. The supplements, if you need them, will work so much better once the ground beneath them is solid. Rule 13. Never let a doctor dismiss your symptoms with the phrase, "It is just age." This last rule is not about nutrition or movement. It is about self-advocacy, and it may be the one that matters most of all. Research published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults are significantly more likely to have legitimate, investigable symptoms attributed to age rather than properly examined. And this diagnostic dismissal leads to undertreatment for conditions that are both identifiable and manageable. Morning stiffness that limits your range of motion. Fatigue that sleep does not fix. Unexplained weight changes. Pain that has progressively worsened over months. These are not inevitable features of being 65 or 70. They are signals. Your body is always communicating, and you deserve a provider who listens to those signals rather than dismissing them as background noise. If your current doctor does not investigate, ask for a referral or a second opinion. You are not being difficult. You are being an advocate for the only body you have and for the life you still intend to live in it. Before you go, I promised you something extra, and here it is. One thing you can do today, not next week, not after you've thought it through. Today, pick Rule 7, just Rule 7. Put a glass of water on your nightstand tonight. Before you do anything tomorrow morning. Before your phone, before your coffee, before you check the news. Drink it. That is your only job tomorrow morning. One glass of water, one rule, one day. The people who feel the difference first are never the ones who try to change everything at once. They are the ones who started with one thing and let it become automatic before adding the next. Consistency matters more than intensity. Always, small steps, repeated over weeks, create the kind of change you can actually feel. In your energy in the morning, in the way you move, in how you show up for the people who matter most to you. You do not have to do this alone, and you do not have to wait long to begin feeling it. If this video helped you even a little, hit like. It takes 1 second, and it helps someone else your age find this. Subscribe so you do not miss the next episode. What I am covering next is even more specific to your situation, and if today surprised you, that one is going to change how you think about aging entirely. And if you know someone who is struggling with their energy, their joints, or the feeling that their body is working against them, share this with them. You might give them something their doctor has not. Comment, strong if strength and mobility are your priority right now. Comment, sharp if protecting your memory and mental clarity is what you most want to preserve. I read every single one. Your answers are going to guide exactly what comes next. It is not too late, and you do not have to wait long to start feeling the difference.